Billionaire returns at midnight to find Mom in tears. What he uncovers will shock you. The clock struck 12 as Max Thornton rolled up the long driveway to his family estate, the headlights cutting through the thick fog like a knife. This place, with its massive columns and expansive gardens, usually felt like a fortress of comfort. But tonight, something felt off. He parked his sleek black car, a jolt of worry pinching at his chest. As he stepped into the grand foyer, the silence echoed loudly, a stark contrast to his earlier excitement. The air was thick with dread. And then, he heard its soft sobs drifting from down the hallway. His heart raced. What could possibly make his mother cry like that? It was unthinkable. He rushed towards the sound, each step heavy and deliberate, his palms growing clammy. The magnificent paintings of their family hung silently on the walls, seemingly watching him, waiting for the shocking revelation unfolding just ahead. When he entered the parlor, the sight hit him like a brick. His mother, a pillar of strength, sat curled up on the sofa, tears streaming down her face. She looked up at him, her eyes wide with a mix of sorrow and fear that he had never seen before. "Max," she gasped, a quiver in her voice, "you need to sit down. There is something you don't know, something that changes everything." A chill shot through him. Why was she so scared? His mind raced through a million scenarios, each more ridiculous than the last. Was there a scandal? Had something happened to the family fortune? But before he could voice any questions, she shook her head, her breath hitching as if fighting back the tide of overwhelming emotion. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let us connect." His mother continued, "It's about your father, and a woman named Lila." That name slammed into him like ice water. Lila? The name he'd heard whispered in the shadows of their upscale parties, the enigmatic figure who had disappeared years ago. There was something dark buried in her past, something that always sent chills through the room whenever it was mentioned. His heart pounded in his ears now, pulling him into a whirlwind of confusion. What had his father done? What had she done? Max swallowed hard, wrestling with the swell of emotions crashing inside him. A tightness gripped his throat, and a lump formed that he couldn't quite dislodge. He felt as if the walls were closing in. Questions whirled around in his mind. He stepped closer to her, desperation clawing at his insides. "What about Lila? What has happened, Mom?" Her gaze shifted away, focusing on the window, where the moonlight streamed in, illuminating a dusty memory of their past. "She is back, Max. She is back, and she is not alone." With her last words hanging heavy in the air, the shadows deepened all around him. What would this new reality mean for him? Did he know who he could trust? The question surged like wildfire, and the night stretched silent and foreboding, leaving Max standing on the brink of something he couldn't yet comprehend. Max's heartbeat thundered in his ears, drowning out the quiet in the parlor. He couldn't take his eyes from his mother's face, which seemed to age in moments, creased by worry and strife. "Mom, what do you mean not alone? Who is with her?" Her lips trembled as she spoke, the words catching in her throat. They came back. Together." She paused, drawing a deep breath, clearly bracing herself for the storm that was about to unleash. "Your father has been seeing her." "For years." "I thought no. I hoped he had left that behind." Shock coursed through Max, paralyzing him for a heartbeat. His father, a man of power and privilege, cast a long shadow over his life, and his mother's pain was like a dagger piercing through it. The very notion that his father had been entangled with Lila, the woman whose return was once nothing more than a ghost tale, shattered the foundation of everything he believed. How could he do this, Mom? His voice cracked, tinged with disbelief. You deserve better. We deserve better. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. I thought he had changed, that he was done with her. But she is back, and she brought someone with her. The words dangled ominously in the air, a weight that left little space for fresh air. Who would accompany Lila back to his life? His mind raced, envisioning a stranger, a rival, or worse, someone who could threaten not just his father's marriage, but his very existence in the family hierarchy. Max took a step back, chaos swirling in his mind as scenarios unfolded like pages in a rapidly turning book. Is this why you were so upset when I returned home tonight? Did you know this would happen? Are we in danger? Not yet, she replied, shaking her head vigorously, as if trying to dispel the very thought. But they are planning something, and I don't know what it is. The night they arrived, I saw them in the garden. There was something in their eyes, Max, something dark and fierce. The looming shadows in the room felt heavier now. The moon, once a comforting glow, cast chilling beams that felt like fingers reaching in from the outside. Max's breath hitched, as he suddenly felt as if they were under siege in their own home. Why didn't we hear about this sooner? You should be told me. His mother shifted uncomfortably, looking away from him. I thought it was finished. I thought no. You can't just think things like that. You need to tell me everything right now. In a sudden burst of anger, he slammed a fist against the wall, the sound echoing through the silent house. For a beat, neither spoke, tension thickening to an unbearable limit. Max paced back and forth, his heart racing alongside the roiling tempest of thoughts battling his mind. Listen to me, Max, she said softly, her voice a low tremor that cut through the noise. You need to be careful. If your father finds out you're aware of this, she paused, her eyes wide and terrified. It could put you in their crosshairs. We don't know what length they'll go to. Crosshairs? Every instinct in his body urged him to run to escape this nightmare. A pit formed in his stomach, twisting like a coiled serpent, and dread seeped into his bones. As his eyes searched hers, something flickered deep within. A sense of responsibility settled on his shoulders, like a cloak, heavy but necessary. I won't let anything happen to you, Mom. Whatever it takes, I will protect us. But even as he spoke, a chill shivered down his spine. Could he really trust his father? Or was he merely a puppet in a game that had been unfolding in the shadows long before he had returned? In that moment, the haunting echoes of the past collided with the present. Before he could ask another question, the tension in the room exploded as the front door creaked open, the wind howling through the hallway like a warning. Someone was entering the house. Max whirled around, adrenaline surging. They weren't alone anymore. Who was it? What did they want? The night was taking a sinister turn, and he had a sinking feeling that the real storm had only just begun. Max's heart pounded loudly, the sound of impending doom ringing in his ears, as he braced himself for what might come through the door. Shadows stretched and twisted in the dim light, creeping closer as if to witness the horror that was about to unfold. Stay behind me, Mom, he ordered, instinctively stepping closer to her, shielding her from the unknown. The door creaked open wider, and the silhouette appeared, a tall figure shrouded in a long coat, face obscured by the dimness. Who is there? Max called out, his voice firm but laced with urgency. Max, came a smooth voice that made his blood run cold. It was his father, and the darkness followed him like a storm cloud. Dad, Max said, forcing the word out as his heart raced. What are you doing here? His father stepped into the light, and the icy gleam in his eyes sent dread coursing through Max. There was an edge to him that seemed dangerous, a predator prowling for its next move. The tension in the room thickened painfully, leaving no space for apologies or excuses. "What are you so afraid of?" His father's voice dripped with sardonic curiosity, but it felt like a threat, the unspoken challenge hanging in the air. "You act as if you've uncovered some secret." "Well done, but ignorance is sometimes bliss." "Don't play games with me," Max shot back, anger flickering dangerously in his chest. "I know about Lila." At the name, his father's expression hardened, the mask of charm cracking open, revealing something darker. "Where did you hear that name?" he demanded, his tone unnervingly calm. "Mom told me," Max replied, challenging his father's authority. "She is scared of what is happening." "Aren't you ashamed of what you've done? You have no idea how much this hurts her." His father let out a low chuckle, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. "Your mother is not as fragile as you think. She has always been far tougher than you realize." "But she shouldn't have to be," Max retorted, his voice rising with his mounting frustration. "You can't keep doing this to us, this dance with danger. Is that why Lila is back? To finish what you both started?" "Never go into the past unless you intend to dwell there," his father warned, stepping closer as he spoke. "And it's never wise to threaten something you don't understand. Do you think you can protect her from the darkness? You're too naive, Max." The word struck him like a physical blow, stealing the breath from his chest. The shadows seemed to draw closer, as a sense of foreboding washed over him. Lila's return wasn't just about his father's infidelity. It was a herald of something much more sinister. Before he could retort, a soft voice echoed from the threshold behind his father. "Thomas, we should just go." It was Lila. Her presence felt like ice creeping over his skin. Max turned, eyes wide with betrayal. He saw her standing there, confidence radiating from her like a poisonous flower. She was more than a familiar face from distant memories. She was a reminder of everything he feared. "Go ahead, Max. Do you really think you're strong enough to face what is coming?" his father taunted, more amused than concerned. Suddenly, the walls felt like they were closing in on him. Staring from his father to Lila, Max realized he was caught in a web spun long before he arrived back home. He wanted to scream in frustration and fear, but instead, he clenched his fists and looked his father in the eye. "What are you planning?" But the answer didn't come, leaving an unsettling silence hanging in the air. Lila stepped forward, her gaze piercing through him. "Sometimes, understanding the past is the only way to control the future, Max. I hope you're ready for what lies ahead." The chill ran deeper into his bones, as he felt everything inside him twist. What was the real plan? With every heartbeat, he was being drawn deeper into the shadows, knowing that whatever came next would change everything. As the tension tightened like a noose, Max braced himself for the unraveling truth, realizing that the worst was yet to come. What did Lila truly know? And what game were they playing that he hadn't yet grasped? The darkness was only beginning to rise. Max stood frozen, every nerve in his body tingling with confusion and dread. Lila's words echoed in his mind, twisting like a knife. Control the future? What did that mean? He felt like a marionette, strings tangled with the darkness that his father embodied, and the dizzying allure of Lila's presence. He had to find answers, but as he glanced at his mother, her fearful eyes locked on his father, he fought against despair. "Mom, we need to." "I'm fine, Max," she whispered, but her hands clenched tightly at her sides, betraying her composure. The truth hung heavily in the air, a sour taste that threatened to choke them. "Fine?" Max scoffed, his voice rising. "Look around. This isn't fine." "Enough," his father thundered, cutting through their exchange like a knife through butter. "You think you can dictate what is fine or not? You know nothing of the world we live in." Max felt his pulse quicken. Every instinct urged him to keep challenging the man who had haunted his childhood, but something in Thomas's eyes made him hesitate. There was venom there, a recognition of the stakes that left Max's throat dry. "I know how you hurt her," Max shot back. "I know what you've done to our family." "Family?" Thomas laughed, a sound that chilled Max to the bone. "You think we're a family? You don't see the bigger picture at all. The game we play is about survival, not affection." Lila stepped closer, leaning slightly forward as if to challenge Max. "You think you're ready for this reality? You barely understand the game, and already, you want to protect things you don't comprehend." "Stop it!" His voice shattered like glass, reverberating through the room. "Stop pretending you care. If you did, you wouldn't be standing here." Her expression shifted, revealing a flicker of something concerned? Fear? Before she swiftly masked it again. Lila was a riddle wrapped in layers of intrigue, a reflection of the darkness both he and his father claimed. "You're not ready to understand, Max. This is bigger than you think, and it's coming for you," Lila whispered, her gaze piercing through him as the weight of her words settled ominously. "What do you mean?" The question spilled out before he could stop it, and the air thrummed with anticipation, the calm before the storm. "Your father's dealings, they awaken things," she said, glancing back at Thomas as if confirming their unspoken connection. "Things best left undisturbed." As alarm shot through Max, another sensation unfurled within him: curiosity. What secrets lay hidden beneath the surface of their lives? But the thought of what those secrets could be twisted in his gut. What had Thomas awakened? Max clenched his fists, feeling the heat of anger flooding his veins, fighting against the suffocating fear. He stepped deeper into the confrontation. "You think I'm just going to step aside while you two play your twisted games?" "Step aside?" Thomas smirked, his voice low and dangerous. "You've already stepped into our game. There's no turning back now." In that moment, a loud crash interrupted their confrontation, rattling the tension in the room. They all turned simultaneously toward the direction of the noise, hearts pounding. Something had fallen in the hallway, something that echoed the fragile state of their lives. "What was that?" his mother gasped, her voice trembling. Without a word, Max took a deep breath and motioned for her to stay back. He instinctively moved to the door, heart racing at the dark promise of what awaited him beyond. He couldn't let fear take hold. He had to face whatever was waiting, whatever truth or danger lurked in the shadows. With slow determination, he pushed the door open, anxiety drumming in his ears. The shadows swallowed him whole, and he felt the chill creep up his spine. What awaited him in the dark? Something whispered in the depths, echoing the words of his father and Lila. Max had opened a door to a world he didn't understand, and there might not be a way back. What awaited him outside could change everything, and maybe, just maybe, it was a secret meant for him to discover. As he stepped into the gloom, he wondered, was this the moment he'd unveil their truth, or the instant the darkness would claim him? The hallway was cloaked in shadow, the air thick with an unsettling stillness that seemed to pulse with anticipation. Max's heart thudded in his chest, each beat screaming for him to run back to the safety of the living room, back to his mother. But curiosity rooted him in place, the fear of the unknown battling against a burgeoning need for answers. He stepped forward, the creaking floorboards underfoot echoing like a warning. Dim light from a flickering bulb revealed old family portraits, lining the walls, images of smiles that now felt like relics of a happier past. He wondered if they had ever truly known the weight of the secrets buried beneath their laughter. Suddenly, a quiet rustle broke the tense silence, sending a cold shiver cascading down his spine. "Hello?" Max called out, cautious but determined. His voice cracked in the stillness, barely above a whisper. Nothing but silence met him, heavy and oppressive. He strained his eyes, searching the corners of the darkened corridor, waiting for movement, for a flicker of something, anything. The deeper he went, the more the shadows seemed to close in around him, twisting with ominous intent. Then he spotted a glimmer of silver near the end of the hallway. It caught the fading light and shone like a beacon amidst the darkness. Drawn to it, he moved closer, every instinct screaming that this was not just an object, but a clue, a tangible piece of the puzzle that surrounded his family. As he reached for it, an abrupt cold breeze swept through, snuffing out the flickering bulb above him. The darkness intensified, wrapping around him like a suffocating shroud, and a surge of fear struck hard at his gut. "No, not now," he muttered, heart racing. Just as he prepared to turn back, the silver object shifted. A voice emerged from the darkness, hushed and urgent. "If you want to know, you have to be ready for the truth." Max's breath hitched. It was Lila. Her presence was a jarring contrast to the gloom enveloping him. "What are you doing here?" he managed, wanting to retreat but feeling anchored in place. Her gaze burned with intensity, eyes glimmering like shards of glass in the absence of light. "You're in danger. Your father's decisions have consequences, and they're coming for you." "What do you mean? What did he do?" Max pressed, desperation creeping into his voice. Before Lila could respond, a loud crash echoed from the living room, making Max flinch. The anxiety twisted in his chest, a tight coil, as he thought of his mother. "Mom!" he shouted, turning swiftly back toward the door. "No, wait!" Lila grasped his arm, her grip firm and unyielding. "You can't go back. You need to know what is happening." He tore himself free from her grasp, fear and defiance mingling, urgency overriding all rational thought. "I have to protect her," he insisted, moving back into the hallway, feeling the weight of Lila's eyes on him. "Then you're running toward your own end," she murmured, a mixture of sorrow and determination etching her features. With a rush, Max flung open the living room door. The room lay in disarray, furniture upturned, photographs scattered across the floor. His mother was hunched over, silent sobs racking her frame. The sight ignited a fire in his chest. "Mom!" he yelled, rushing to her side. "Max, it's all unraveling," she gasped, her voice thick with tears. "You don't understand what he has involved and it's too late for me." "But you," his stomach nodded, yearning for more than just words. "What are you talking about?" But before she could respond, the shadows moved, revealing a figure standing at the threshold. Thomas loomed, a twisted smile creeping across his face. "You see, Max? You've chosen the wrong side. The game is just beginning, and you're about to lose." Max's world tilted, dread seeping into his bones. The room spun, reality shattering like glass around him. Would he become a pawn in a game he didn't understand? As he faced his father, heart pounding, Max realized this moment could change everything. There was no escape now. There was only the fight ahead. What truths would he have to confront to save his family? And as the tension thickened, a new question hung in the air. Was he ready to pay the price for the knowledge he sought? Max's breath caught in his throat as the full weight of his father's presence hit him. Thomas stood like a wall of chaos, his smile so wrong it sent Max's heart racing. "What do you want?" Max barked, the quaver in his voice betraying the courage he tried to muster. "Such fire, my boy," Thomas cooed, stepping forward with a casual authority that made Max's skin crawl. "I only want to help you see the larger picture." In that instant, the world beyond the room faded to nothing. All that mattered was between the three of them, and the tension crackled in a way that felt almost alive. Max glanced at his mother, her face pale and twisted in terror, and his stomach churned. Whatever unholy bond lay between Thomas and this disarray was breaking her. "Stay away from her," Max shouted, drawing himself tall, trying to shake off the chill gripping his bones. "Your mother?" "Oh, my sweet child," Thomas laughed, the sound cruel, echoing against the chaos. She has just the tip of the iceberg. You don't know what I'm involved in, what we're all involved in. He swept his arms wide, as if to embrace the darkness that seeped into every corner of the room. You think those portraits on the wall are just memories? They're more than that. They are secrets waiting to unfold. Stop it. Just stop. Max was pleading now, desperate for this to end. What do you mean involved? What does any of this have to do with me? Thomas took a step closer, the laughter fading from his face, replaced by an unnerving sincerity. You've been sheltered, Max. Your mother didn't want you to bear the burden of what's unfolding, the inheritance of our legacy. Max's heart raced even faster. What inheritance? Before Thomas could respond, Lila stepped into the doorway, her silhouette a stark contrast to the chaos within. Max, she shouted. You need to listen to get out of here. Max spat, fury and panic mingling as he fixed his gaze on Thomas again. You brought her into this. You don't get to drag her into your games. No, no, my boy, Thomas countered, eyes narrowing. This isn't a game. This is survival. Our survival. He gestured around the room. Your mother's tears were inevitable. You must understand. The longer you remain in the dark, the greater the danger, not just for you, Max, but for everyone you care about. Max's resolve began to crumble. He clenched his fists, fighting against the truth simmering just beneath the surface. What danger? Your father is tangled in something bigger than you can imagine, Lila interjected again, voice firm despite her pale complexion. If you don't step up, it'll consume you whole. You have a choice: stay in the dark or step into the light. No! I'm not going to play your little power games. Max's voice shook, a mix of defiance and doubt. Then brace yourself, Thomas said, a sinister edge creeping back in. Because everything you believe about your family is about to be shattered beyond recognition. Silence fell. In the stillness, Max could almost hear the blood pumping in his ears. Every word felt like a loaded bullet, each one ready to explode into his reality. He noticed his mother's tear-streaked face, her eyes pleading, searching for hope amidst the fear. As he wrestled with the choices laid bare before him, a new sound interrupted their standoff, a soft crackling at the window, like branches snapping under pressure. Max's pulse quickened again, worry washing over him. Is someone outside? He asked, voice steadier than he felt. Thomas's expression shifted, a flicker of something darker passing through his eyes. Too late to worry about that now. In a sudden rush, Lila darted toward the window, throwing the curtain aside. A flash of movement ignited through the glass, a glimpse of shadow that vanished the moment she turned. Max's breath hitched as he faced Thomas again, realizing the game was escalating far beyond what he thought. How many lies had been spun around him? The weight of their shared fate crashed down like a thunderstorm, and with it, a collective sway of uncertainty pushed him back. What awaited outside that window? And how much danger truly loomed over them? A deep chill slipped through the cracks of the door. More than just a breeze, it felt like imminent doom creeping in. With hands trembling and heart pounding, Max braced himself for the next wave of revelations. Would he dare to unravel the truth? Lila's gasp froze the air around them. Max turned to see her wide-eyed, the curtain still clutched in her hand. The fleeting shadow outside lanced through his mind like a jagged needle, but Thomas leaned casually against the frame, an unsettling confidence radiating from him. Did you see something? Max demanded, his voice tight with urgency. Lila shook her head slowly. No, it was just a reflection. I think. A reflection? Thomas echoed, his grin widening. Or perhaps an omen. It's all about perspective, my dear. Max's stomach lurched as he struggled to decipher Thomas's meaning. With his heart hammering against his ribs, he took a step closer to Lila, needing the comfort of her presence. We're not safe here. Not with him. Oh, But safety is an illusion, isn't it? Thomas interrupted, his tone deceptively warm. You think removing the thread means it will disappear. But the true danger lurks much closer than you realize. Max's fists tightened. What do you want from us? Knowledge, my boy. Knowledge to prepare you for what is coming. Thomas stepped forward, and the shadows seemed to wrap around him like a cloak. There are forces at play, buried secrets that bind this family together. You can either be a pawn in their game or become the player. What does that even mean? Max snapped, burning with confusion and frustration. Think about the portraits, Thomas said, his eyes glinting with fervor. Each frame holds a truth, a visceral connection to our past. What if I told you that every tear you've seen on your mother's face is tied to those very portraits? What if I told you they whisper secrets that can change everything? Max's breath came in quick gasps. You're lying. You're just trying to mess with my head. Am I? Thomas lowered his voice, a whisper thick with menace. Your mother could tell you the truth. She has been living with it long enough. But she is afraid of what it means for you. Think. What is she hiding? Why is she afraid to let you in? He turned and gestured grandly to the portraits hung on the wall, each painted face seemingly watching, waiting. It was all too surreal, too bizarre. Lila pulled Max back slightly, her grip firm. Don't listen to him. He is trying to manipulate you. But a seed of doubt had been sown, and Max couldn't he shake it. Could the answer sit within those painted faces? He felt the urge to confront his mother, to demand truth, but a chill sliced through the air, freezing him in place. Max, Thomas said, his voice smooth, you'll need to understand your lineage. The moment will come when you must choose. Embrace what you are or let it consume you. A loud crash interrupted them, the sound of breaking glass echoed through the hall, sending a shiver up Max's spine. Thomas straightened, his previously calm demeanor shifting to something darker and much more predatory. Looks like our little show is about to take an unexpected twist, he murmured, eyes narrowing as he turned towards the source of the noise. What was that? Lila's voice trembled. Max felt panic prick at his skin, and he turned, his instincts driving him to put Lila behind him as a shield. They both faced the doorway, hearts beating as one, waiting. A figure loomed in the dim light, emerging from the shadows like a ghost. The gleam of something sharp flickered in their hand, and Max felt his heart stop, a sick tangle of dread tightening around his throat. Who are you? He shouted, both fear and anger fueling his voice. The silhouette paused as if savoring the moment, the air thick with tension, a haunting silence that pressed against their chests. Your nightmare is just beginning, Max, the figure breathed, and suddenly everything shifted. What awaited them next? What secrets did this new threat hold? And how far was Max willing to go to protect those he loved? Max's pulse roared in his ears. The figure stepped into the light, a tall woman, with a wild mane of dark hair, her eyes glinting dangerously. The sharp object in her hand caught the dim illumination, a knife, its blade reflecting silver flickers as she brandished it with a menacing precision. Get back, Lila urged, her voice wavering but urgent, pulling at Max's arm as if to drag him away from the impending threat. Thomas chuckled, an unsettling sound that echoed through the room. Ah, an unexpected guest. How delightful. Don't you want to know what she has come to reveal? Reveal? Max shot back, still keeping Lila behind him. Fear danced on the edges of his bravery, but he was not going down without a fight. You think I'm gonna let you hurt us? Do you think you have a choice? The woman spoke, her voice low and cold, every word laced with venom. You're tangled deeper in this family's web than you know, Max. And tonight, the truth must come out. Truth? Max felt incredulous. What truth? Who are you? I'm someone who knows more than you can imagine, she spat, moving closer. I am here to show you how deep the lies run. How far betrayal can reach. Lila's grip on Max tightened painfully. "We don't owe you anything," she said defiantly. "Don't speak unless you want to regret it," the woman warned, and Max noted the madness dancing in her gaze. She seemed unhinged, the edges of her sanity fraying like an old, tattered rope. Max's mind raced. Who was she? What were the lies Thomas had spoken of? And how did they connect to his family? "Look around you," the woman said suddenly, gesturing broadly toward the portraits lining the walls, their expressions frozen in time. "This place is cloaked in whispers and blood. You're the heir, Max. The legacy is yours. But only if you're willing to fight for it." Max's heart skipped. He exchanged a quick glance with Lila. Confusion wrapped itself around his thoughts, squeezing tightly. "What do you know about my mother?" Max shot back. "Don't you dare involve her in your madness. She is not the innocent you think," the woman hissed, stepping even closer. "She has been keeping secrets, and you're standing right in the middle of them all the while thinking you're safe." Just then, the silence shattered by another crash from somewhere in the house, a loud bang that sent a fresh wave of panic crashing over them. Max's instincts kicked in. He didn't have time for games. "Enough," he shouted, his voice breaking through the chaos. "What do you want?" "I want to show you the truth," she sneered, a glimmer of mania in her eyes. "But before that I think it's time we played a little game." The tension was electric, thick with unspoken threats and revelations that hung heavily in the air. "Game?" Max echoed, sensing urgency rise like bile in his throat. "Yes. You might find it enlightening," she replied, twisting the knife lightly in her hand. "A choice must be made, and your innocence will be stripped away in the process. Are you prepared to face what lies beneath?" Max felt the walls closing in, his thoughts racing as dread clawed at his throat. The stakes were higher than he'd ever imagined. "I want to back down," he declared, though his voice trembled with uncertainty. The woman's eyes fulfilled with dark satisfaction. "Then let the games begin, Max, and remember, every secret uncovered has a price." What did she mean? What price would Max have to pay? The air thickened with foreboding as the shadows deepened around them, each heartbeat echoing louder against the walls of hidden history. Max's stomach churned at the thought of betrayal and deceit lurking just out of sight. He suddenly felt the weight of the past pressing down like a heavy stone. What hidden truths awaited him, and was he really ready to confront them? As the knife glinted ominously under the dim light, an unsettling thought comforted him: nothing would be the same ever again. Would he rise to the challenge, or would the legacy consume him? The first move was yet to be made, and the clock was ticking. Max's heart raced as the woman's eyes bore into him, her madness sparking a primal fear inside him. He was trapped, caught in a web of cryptic threats and strange alliances. Lila gripped his arm, pulling him back, though all he wanted was to confront the lunatic brandishing the knife. "What do you know about my family?" Max demanded, forcing himself to remain steady. The woman's cracked smile promised darkness, and with every word, it felt like the air grew thicker, each breath a battle. "Family?" She laughed bitterly. "What a quaint idea. Family is nothing more than a collection of secrets kept safe behind closed doors. Are you ready to open those doors, Max? Or would you rather remain blind?" "Enough with the riddles," Lila snapped, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her fear. "What is your name? Why are you really here?" "Jane," she said, swirling the knife in her grasp, her eyes glinting with unsettling enthusiasm. "And I'm here to help you find the truth that has been buried under layers of deception. I'll show you how your mother's smile hides betrayals deeper than you could ever fathom. Don't you dare talk about her." Max's voice cracked, each word laced with fury. Jane stepped forward, extending the blade toward him, the reflection of the dim light catching the sharp edge in a dazzling display of danger. "You think you're protecting her?" she taunted, a wicked gleam illuminating her features. "This is a game, Max. And the stakes are higher than you know. The moment you entered this house, you became a player. You were born for this, whether you like it or not." Every instinct screamed at him to run, to yank Lila away, and escape the spiral of chaos surrounding them. But curiosity gnawed him. What if there were truths he needed to confront? What if the very foundation of his life was about to topple? "Why should I trust you?" he challenged. The pounding in his chest started to swell into a fierce resolve. "You could be lying, or worse." Jane leaned in closer, her face mere inches from his now. "Because the real lies come from the ones you love the most. And I'm the only one willing to show you." Just then, another echoing crash reverberated through the house, more violent this time. A shudder rippled through the walls, rattling the portraits framed in dark wood. Max felt his heart rate spike dangerously. Someone was trying to get in. "Let them come!" Jane shouted, laughing wildly as if the chaos fueled her spirit. "The more the merrier. But remember, Max, each player sheds their savings before the final cut." "Please stop," Lila cried, pulling at Max desperately. "This is insane. We can't just stand here." Max's gaze darted between Lila's frightened face and the knife glinting ominously in Jane's hand. "What do you want from us?" he demanded again, his voice taut with urgency. "Just one question, Max. Are you prepared to pay the price?" She leaned closer, her breath ghosting over his skin. "If you want the truth, you must risk everything. Are you willing to walk the path of darkness and come out on the other side?" The question hung in the air like a hanging blade, each second ticking away the chance for safety as the chaos outside intensified. Max swallowed hard, feeling the weight of the moment crush down on him like a heavy cloak. I need to know," he stammered, knowing there was no turning back. Suddenly, the door burst open, sending a chilling rush of wind through the room as dark figures entered, shadows with intent. Max's breath caught in his throat. The game was no longer a threat. It had arrived at the door. What would he discover when the dust settled and secrets unraveled? With a heart full of dread, Max stood ready, knowing that the fight had only just begun. The room erupted into chaos as dark figures poured through the doorway, eyes gleaming with malice. Max surged forward, adrenaline flooding through him. "Get back!" he screamed, pulling Lila behind him, desperate to shield her from the menacing presence. "Max?" Thomas's voice rang out cool and collected, pulling Max's attention. "This isn't the way. You want to fight, but what you're up against is beyond your understanding." The larger figure stepped forward, shadowy and imposing. "We're here for what's ours," he growled, a wolfish grin spreading across his face. Max felt a wave of fear wash over him. What did they want? His heart crashed against his ribs, urging him to protect his mother and Lila at all costs. "Stop!" Jane shouted, stepping aside as if expecting the chaos to unfold. "You can't just barge in here. This is the Thornton estate." But her voice carried an edge that suggested she wasn't as fearless as she pretended. "Is that so?" the tall figure replied, his grin widening into something feral. "Then perhaps it's time the Thorntons learned the price of recklessness." Max's mind spun. "What are you talking about? What did my father do?" He felt a burning need to defend his family, to understand the truth. "Your father isn't over his head," the man replied. "And he is not the only one with secrets." Then, in an instant, he lunged forward, and Max instinctively reacted, pushing Lila out of Harm's way. In the whirl of cacophony, chaos, and confusion, Max's determination surged. "Stop this!" he shouted, feeling the fire in his veins. "You're not taking anyone." A sudden silence fell, crushed by the heft of ongoing uncertainty. Everyone seemed to freeze, suspense thick in the air. The dark figures hesitated, caught off guard by Max's defiance. "You think you can protect them?" one of the intruders said, incredulity lacing his tone. "You're just a child playing grown-up." "No," Lila insisted, her voice ringing with a fierce strength he had never heard from her before. "He is a Thornton. He has the right to defend himself." The intruder laughed, a hollow sound that sent a shiver down Max's spine. "This isn't about bloodlines, sweet girl. This is ancient legacy, blood debts, and dark truths hidden in the fabric of time." With an unsteady breath, Max met Lila's fierce gaze, determination firming in his chest. "Enough talking. If you want to fight, let us do this." At that moment, a flurry of movement ignited as the intruder lunged toward Max. Instinct kicked in, and he sidestepped, feeling something brush against his arm, a cold, hard edge. Jane stood motioning with her knife, fierce and untamed. "You're not just a pawn, Max. Don't let them play you." In a moment of clarity, he remembered the portraits lining the walls, the family history that seemed to contain the answers he had been grasping for all along. "What if I don't want to play?" he shouted at the top of his lungs. "Then your mother's tears won't be the only one spilled tonight," the intruder growled, lunging again. Without thinking, Max pushed himself forward. The room exploded in a tumult of near-silent tension as the blade clashed with Jane's knife, a metallic sound ringing sharply. "Get out!" Max yelled, shoving against the intruder with all his might. He felt the pulse of fear and courage swirling in him, igniting a fire that wouldn't go out. "You're not taking anyone. Not my family." Suddenly, something shifted in the atmosphere, like a thunderstorm rolling in, heavy and electric. The dark figures wavered, expectations thinning, as if realizing their facade could break. Maybe Jane was right. Maybe the power he gripped within him was just rooted in anger, but in the legacy he had yet to fully understand. "What is the price?" he spat, the words sharp like flint. "What do I need to risk to protect them all?" The man paused, a shadow crossing his face. "To stand against us? You'll risk it all, boy. Blood, pain, the very fabric of your lineage." With every pulse of his heart, Max felt the weight of his choices. "If that is what it takes, then I'll stand. I'll fight." That declaration ignited a fierce blaze in his chest, a sense of purpose that boring through the chaos like a beacon in the dark. "Mom, Lila, now!" he yelled, adrenaline surging, directing them toward the shadows. Each step felt heavy but powerful, their fear mixed with determination. "Together!" Lila shouted, eyes blazing. Max dashed toward the intruders poised at the threshold, anger and determination rippling through him. "You think you can frighten me? I won't bow to the darkness," he bellowed, thrusting forward as if challenging fate itself. With growing strength, the three pressed through the fray, united against what threatened to unravel them. Each step cracked the shroud of uncertainty. Each moment mattered as they fought relentlessly for clarity and truth, drawing strength from the bonds they forged. And as the shadows receded, Max felt anew the fight could be worth something. The truths yet to be uncovered held a promise of light, a flicker of hope amidst the darkness. This family, still standing together despite the layers of chaos, was worth it all. With that fierce resolve, Max led them toward the threshold of the unknown, unyielding because sometimes facing the truth meant embracing every ugly part of it. It wasn't just about battles fought, but the hearts they fought for. And as he crossed into the chaos, he felt the warmth of their unity leading the way, knowing they were ready to confront whatever awaited them on the other side. You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. Instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to show your support. True fans understand the importance of backing the channel through these actions.